Tell me what's the difference in preaching against bobbed hair, painted face, shorts, all this, that, and other, being worldly, and we let this worldly means come right in, and we're afraid to say one thing about it. And let me tell you right up front, any of you young people, you want to marry a black man, you girls, don't ask me to do it, because I will not. I refuse. I cannot do it with a conscience toward God and look these quotes in the face.
Hello, welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to talk to you about religion and the youth. Why are the youth no longer religious? There's a study that came out, I guess, from the Washington Post that said that for the first time in the history of mankind, the number of youth that identify themselves as either agnostic or atheist is higher than the number of youths that identify themselves with a certain mainstream religion. So, what has led to this phenomenon? I'm going to explain this using clips that illustrate the current state of religious institutions. So, number one is money. Money is everything. Money runs the world. Like in the current society, money is more than everything. Like it's all the things. And this drives the youth away from the church and other religious institutions because of two things. Number one, religious institutions are becoming less philanthropic and more capitalistic in nature. Like, for instance, see this clip.
I had enough money to buy a beautiful Cessna Citation jet, cash. And since there's so much jealousy in this room tonight that I can feel over this, a few weeks later, I bought another one worth 3 times what that one was. Cash. Act happy over my blessing, folks.
You see, like, you'll find that the priority of the religious institution is actually and does not relate to what the youth expect religious institutions to be. Like, you'll find that the moment the church accumulates certain wealth, the first idea that comes to the church is, let's buy the pastor Range Rover, let's buy a private jet, let's invest in something. You'll find that nowadays religious institutions actually own very, very expensive private schools. In that way, they are becoming very, very capitalistic in nature, and that drives away the youth, because when I give, my expectation is this money, no matter how less it is, should be used to help the poor or help the community. So in a way, it discourages the youth from actually being religious. That's a fact. Number two is the issue that the current teaching emphasizes on the need of quantity rather than quality. Like, the more you give, the more you receive. And for a youth, like seen in this clip,
The size of your seed will determine the size of your harvest. I don't understand why, but there's something happens at a level where people step into faith and give $1,000 that don't happen at other levels.
You're going to have a breakthrough through this $273 seed.
All you've got is $1,000. Listen, that's not enough money anyway to buy the house. You're trying to get in the apartment. You're trying to buy the house. That's not enough money anyway. You get to that phone and you put that seed in the ground and watch God work it out.
see, but a youth won't relate to such things, because most of our role models, most of the people in this society who we consider as successful, are crooks and are thieves, and they do not give. So when you tell a youth that the more you give, the more you receive, in such an abstract manner, his interpretation will be that that is a false statement. But I believe I'm a giver. I believe in giving. So I just feel that the insistence on quantity rather than quality is driving the youth away from religion. The second thing that I just believe is driving the youth away from religion is issue to do with interpretation. See this video.
Pitiful thing. Not holy, not wonderful, and everybody should do it. Friends, it's worldly. Why is it so many black basketball stars, black football stars, black baseball stars want a white wife? Why? Lord have mercy. It's another defiance of God's law. It is a worldly way. And then it creeps over into the message. Tell me what's the difference in preaching against bobbed hair, painted face, shorts, all this, that, and other, being worldly, and we let this worldly means come right in, and we're afraid to say one thing about it. And let me tell you right up front, any of you young people, you want to marry a black man, you girls, don't ask me to do it, because I will not. I refuse. I cannot do it with a conscience toward God and look these quotes in the face.
Oh my God, this is the most racist person I've ever seen. So what this guy is doing, he did this. He went and searched for a clip or a verse in the Bible that clearly communicates to what he believes, not what the Bible is saying, but what he believes the Bible is saying. And this is a very important phenomenon, because it also affects other religion. Like the way we are in the period of logic, we do not obtain our information from religious institutions. We have access to information. So this access to information has led to every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be free to interpret religious scriptures the way they see fit. And it's very dangerous, because, okay, I believe in freedom of religion, and I believe religion is freedom that should not be limited in any way. But you see, it gives rise to this effect where people interpret religious scriptures very abstractly. And I was speaking to a Muslim friend of mine, and he told me that the problem with the current Muslim or Islam, especially for youth, is that most young Muslims actually, especially of the male gender, actually follow only two things in the Quran. The issue to do with not eating pork and marrying 4 wives. Like, they choose what they should follow in the Quran because of the interpretation and access to information. And I believe it's driving the youth away from religion. So the third issue, the religious institutions are no longer seen as holy places, but more of social gathering places. And this thing, watch this clip. You see, I have no problem with the way this lady is dressed. To me, I just believe if I meet her on the road, actually, I'll compliment her on how smart I admit she's dressed. But in a church setting, it's very different, because people go there for their spiritual need. So I'm putting myself in the mind of a 19-year-old boy. What will that boy concentrate on? Is it the way this lady is dressed, or what is being said in church? Listen to what Pastor Ng'ang'a is saying about that topic.
Unaona nguo zinauzwa, au wanaume ni wasaidie hizi nguo hizi nyuma hizi, unaona wako nazo, si nyuma. Mwambie fugua nione, si nyuma. Kuna nguo zinashonwa za ndani ziko na hiyo kitabaya. Kamugu ni kadogo, hapa ni kadogo. Kwa nini hiki kitu inameleza hapa peke yake? Unakuja hapa watu wanakuangalia. Huyu naye kebaba namna hii na hii vitu yametoa wapi? Hata wanaume tunasema ni nini kako na, ama ni zile vitu Ng'ang'a alisema. Yesu ni wangu wa uzima. Yesu ni.
For once, I agree with him. Like, the guy is not so brilliant, but he has a valid point. Like, in that in such a scenario, it's very difficult for men to concentrate. So they just feel that I don't see a difference between the church and the street. I don't see a difference between any religious institution and the street because I am only going there to interact and see certain things. And this is very, 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 very bad in relationship to driving the youth away from religion. So another point is this: the church is becoming very, very political. It's not a bad thing, but actually the context is in that our expectation of religious institution is that they should speak not on identity issues, but rather on social justice issue. You remember the issue of Black Lives Matter? The youth were on the front line demonstrating and protesting because the current youth is so much into social justice. They want the church to speak about the poor. They want the church to speak about Medicare for all. But the church and other religious institutions, including mosques and temples, are more into doctrinal and identity issue. Like for instance, see this clip.
God's about to bring the whole house down, ladies and gentlemen. These bunch of sex trafficking mongrels are about to be exposed. These bunch of pedophiles in Hollywood are going to be exposed for who they are. I don't care what you think about fraudulent Sleepy Joe. He's a sex trafficking, demon-possessed mongrel. He's of the left. He ain't no better than the Pope and Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks and the rest of that wicked crap. God is going to bring the whole house down. I said he's going to bring the whole house down. He's going to burn the whole thing to the ground. He's going to expose all these bunch of pedophiles. I'm telling you, he's going to expose Kamala Harris for the Jezebel demon that she is. I don't know why pastors don't talk about this stuff. Well, I do. They don't want to seem crazy. I'm already crazy.
So what this preacher is trying to say is, even though you are a tyrant, but you subscribe to the issues that we believe in or the things that we are against, we will vote for you regardless of anything and based on your action or the values that you hold. But because you're promising us that you will do something or you will ban something that we do not agree with, we're going to vote for you. And that is driving the youth away from the church because we don't fear white people. We don't fear black people, do not fear white people. And right nowadays, do not fear blacks. Like we have become so integrated that we are less concentrated on integrity in identity issues, but rather people who hold the same value as us. Another thing, the last thing is to do with miracles. Look at this miracle.
So I'm turning it into a pineapple juice.
Ke fetola go nna pineapple juice.
I'm turning it into pineapple.
Ke fetola go nna
Juice.
pineapple juice.
The word is upon it.
Lefoko le godimo ga yone.
There's a lot of fumes, but I don't have any side effect.
La me le tla dirang.
Oh. You want to drink pineapple juice? Okay. Wait. Nice. It's finished.
This is miraculous. This comes to us from Zimbabwe, where there's a prophet there, pretty famous guy. His name is Shepherd Bushiri. He invited a local news crew into his home to prove once and for all that he does have the ability to walk on air.
Wow. They're actually very, very fake. So religious institutions are trying to attract the youth using such methods. And I just felt it's not working because any youth will see that and tell you that's a fake miracle. I don't need rocket science to identify because it's an age of logic. We have access to information and we can see what's real and what's not real. As a result, the youth are avoiding religious institutions because they just feel that these miracles are not factual. And this is the thing. If you ask a 19-year-old boy, what miracle do you expect today? Or what will happen for you to say that you've experienced a miracle? They'll tell you, I've placed a bet. I just want it to be successful. Not traditional miracles like changing water into wine. And that, I guess, is what religious institutions do not get from the youth. So finally, what's my take? Am I religious? Yeah, I'm very religious. Why? Because you see, 99% of religious people are religious because of fear and hope. That, for the poor, is the hope that we are suffering now, but we'll have a better afterlife. For fear is that I'll rather live as if God is there and die to find out that God is not there, rather than live as if God is not here and die and find out that God was here. So in a way, that should not drive religion. You need religion because it regulates conduct. You'll meet so many temptations, and religion will help you avoid those temptations and live as the way a human being is expected to live.